there must be a designer. We see codes in DNA. Codes are evidence of intelligence because you have to translate from one language to another. We have not a single example of that happening by accident. How old are the oldest trees? 4,500 years. That takes us back almost exactly to the year of the flood. Okay, in 2500 BC. Only the postulates of creation have been observed. Evolution is based on 4 major ideas. None of them have ever been observed. Number 1, that life comes from non-life. We have not one single example of life coming from non-life.
In this video, we take a look at this Christian professor by the name Professor Major Coleman, who disproves and debunks the evolutionary theory. Professor Major Coleman gives 4 reasons why evolution theory is not valid. So let's watch this video and listen to him exactly as he explains and debunks the evolutionary theorem. But before we watch the video, if you haven't yet liked this video, kindly like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let's watch the videos together.
Let me ask you this question, which is, why are you so interested in this biblical story as opposed to any other biblical story?
Well, that is because, first of all, Jesus believed in the flood model, and it's the basis for the entire authenticity of the Bible. If you can prove that the Genesis story is false, you have destroyed the entire belief system on which Christianity is based. So that's why we use this model to show people that Noah's Ark was real and that the story is true.
Well, couldn't the story have been symbolic, metaphor for other kinds of events that took place? How about creation? Couldn't that have been symbolic or metaphorical in the language that's there?
Well, it is possible, but when we look at the 4 postulates of creation and we compare them with the 4 postulates of evolution, only the postulates of creation have been observed. Evolution is based on 4 major ideas. None of them have ever been observed. Number 1, that life comes from non-life. We have not one single example of life coming from non-life. Number 2, that all the life forms that we have today came from single-cell life forms. Many people do not know that while we do have single-cell life forms that we call bacteria, we have no 2-celled life forms. We don't have 3-cell life forms. We don't have 4-cell life forms. We don't even have 5-cell life forms. That is, we go from single-cell bacteria to complex life forms. So there's no evidence that all life comes from single-cell life forms. The third postulate of evolution is that time and chance drive evolution forward, of course, and time works against evolution. The chance of one simple 100-unit protein coming together by accident this is a very big number. Time and chance make evolution absolutely impossible. The 4th postulate that evolution is based on is that what we see today, minor genetic variation in species, is evidence of macroevolution. So because cats are different colors, dogs are different sizes, that means that fish turned into cows. And of course, we know that that's not true because Mendel proved that all the genes that exist today, you can shuffle them around, but there are no new genes that were created. Let's think about the 4 major postulates of creation. Number 1, where there's a design, there must be a designer. We see codes in DNA. Codes are evidence of intelligence because you have to translate from one language to another. We have not a single example of that happening by accident. Number 2, that the Earth, the solar system, the universe, and the galaxy are young, measured in thousands of years, not millions or billions of years. Many times people ask me, they say, well, Major, you believe in a young Earth, a 6,000-year Earth. Can you show me that that's true without using the Bible? And I say, absolutely. What's the oldest living thing on the planet? The oldest living thing on the planet? Trees. How old are the oldest trees? 4,500 years. That takes us back almost exactly to the year of the flood. Okay, in 2500 BC.
Remarkable.
Number 2, I'm saying, look at the sky. We call solar nebulae. A solar nebula is what we see from a supernova when a star explodes. It leaves a gas cloud. Because of our radio telescopes that we have now today, we can look deep into space and we can actually count the number of solar nebulae that are there. And how many are there? A supernova takes place about once every 26 years. How many solar nebulae do we have? 6,000 years worth. That's impossible in a universe that is billions and billions of years old. And we have other evidences, such as alpha decay, that we do in our program that most people don't understand, that also shows that the Earth is 6,000 years old. So that's the second postulate. It proves that the biblical story of creation is true. Life that we see today are the basic kinds of animals and plant life that were originally created. So we can test that. You can breed dogs, you can breed cats, but you can't breed cats with dogs. So there are limits to how far we can go. And lastly, that is, Earth experienced a worldwide flood in approximately 2500 BC, 1656 years after the world was created. The world is filled with limestone. Limestone is sedimentary rock. It precipitates out of water. The entire Earth was filled with water. Every mountain chain in the world, including Everest, has sea life on top of that mountain. The mountains rose out of the water, so we know that there was a worldwide flood.
Welcome back. So in this video, this Christian professor by the name Professor Major Coleman debunks the evolution theorem. Now, a lot of scientists have come together in order to put this theory together. He states these theorems, assumptions, and then debunks each of them with these 4 reasons. So let's take a look at these 4 reasons or 4 assumptions for evolution. Now, first is that life comes from non-life. And he says that there is no single example that shows that life actually comes from non-life. Secondly, he stated that all life forms came from single life forms. So he mentioned an example of simple life form as bacteria. And then he stated that there is no 2 cell forms or 3 cell forms, but we have just a single cell form, that is bacteria, and then we have us as complex life forms. So what accounts for this gap? He also stated that the third assumption is that time and chance drive evolution forward. Also, he added that evidence for major evolutionary processes are minor genetic variations within species. These are the 4 assumptions for evolution to stand, or these are the major foundational assumptions for evolutions. But he debunks all these 4 assumptions and gives examples and explains in detail in the video. Also, he stated these 4 postulates of creation. So these are the 4 major postulates of creation. First, it is that where there is a design, there must be a designer. And then when you take a look at all life forms on Earth, be it plants, animals, and even humans, we are made up of DNA. And DNA, as we know, are genetic codes. Now, these codes are evidence of intelligence, and codes can be translated from one language to the other. So it shows that there is a form of intelligence in this DNA. So whoever designed this DNA must be of some form of intelligence. So since there is a design in the DNA, it means that there must be a designer of such DNA. Secondly, he stated that the Earth and the solar system are young, as opposed to major scientists who also state that the Earth and the solar system has been in existence for millions or even billions of years. He believes in an Earth which is just a few thousand years old. That is about 6,000 years old. And he explains using the solar nebula as well as the supernova to explain this. Now, thirdly, he stated that life that we see today are the basic kinds of life originally created, with minor generic variations between species. So the life forms that we see today, he says, are the original creation, and so there are just a few variations in between the species. Last but not least, he says that Earth experienced a worldwide flood approximately 2500 BC. That is about 1656 years after the world was created. I think this was to support the biblical story of Noah and then the flood that happened on the surface of the earth in the Bible. Now he says that this happened about 2500 years BC. So these are the four major postulates of creation that he stated in this video, giving examples to support his claim that evolution theory does not hold, or it's not valid. And so the biblical story should be the most acceptable one. Now, when you put this before anyone, there are some of the things, these are some of the things that people may raise up, that abiogenesis is not part of the evolutionary theorem. But if you look closely at it, you cannot take it out in the sense that it should be one of the assumptions in there, that lives come from non-life. You need to fix this in there or make this assumption in order for the evolutionary theory to be able to stand. So these are the reasons that he gave in order to debunk the evolution theory. Let me know what you also think about this in the comment section below. Do you believe what this Christian Professor Major Coleman states, or you believe in the evolutionary theorem? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Don't forget to share this video to your Christian friends and your Christian brothers on other social media platforms like WhatsApp, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click the subscribe button down here. Click on the subscribe button. Click as well on the notification bell. And I'd like to see you again in my next video.